Hello, my name is Mike Humberg, and I am the Associate Brand Manager for the Ignition Division. Today, I'd like to talk to you about Generate for foliar application, specifically how we can maximize yield potential in a year of abundant challenge. A lot of that challenge this year is coming from the fact that it's been the wettest year in the last 124 years, meaning we've had the most moisture in any 12-month period on record, with over 6 inches of precipitation above average. If you look at the groundwater map on the right, you can see that we're totally saturated from southwest Minnesota, where I am, into South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, over to Iowa and Missouri, and through Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and through the rest of the eastern United States. The ground is just totally saturated, and we continue to get moisture, which leads to a lot of challenges in the growing season. We've had limited fall tillage to difficulty planting and applying fertilizer this spring, which leads to a lot of stress and a lot of questions. If we did apply fertilizer, is it going to be enough for the crop that we have? Did it get washed away with all the rain? And if we have crop in the ground, did it get planted too late? Is that crop that is there going to reach physiological maturity? So how do we make sure we get the most out of this year? And really that question comes from, does my crops have the nutrients that it needs to be successful? So if we do a soil test and we look at the nutrients such as N, P, and K, we have to keep in mind a few facts. One of those is that at any given time, 95 to 99% of available nitrogen in the soil is in a form that's not directly available to the plant, and it actually requires the microbes to convert it into a usable form. Similarly with phosphorus, there's enough phosphorus in a typical soil for 100 years of crops, and although it might be at adequate levels, less than 0.1% is in a form that's actually able to be taken up by plants. And potassium, depending on the type of soil you have, 90 to 98% of the potassium in your soil is in a form that's unavailable to the plant. Which leads to the real question, do I go and add more fertilizer to my soil, or can I utilize the microbes that are already in my soil to get more out of the fertilizer nutrients that are already there? Which leads to microbial catalyst technology. Using this, we're going to stimulate the native microbes in the soil, which is going to liberate the nutrients that are already out there to improve plant and soil health overall. And I also want to dive in today to how we're able to stimulate the native microbes. And it's all made possible through our patented microbial catalyst technology. This converts normally insoluble trace minerals into a form that's highly soluble, highly stable, and highly available. So with this, we're able to do things differently than other chemistries might be able to. EDTA, for instance, is highly soluble and highly stable, but it's not available at all. So it's a little bit different in that way compared to our chemistry, which I'm going to go into next. So using our patented chemistry with an organic acid chelation, we're able to have multiple effects on the microbes. The first of which is that the microbe-preferred chemistry is very rapidly utilized by the microbes for reproduction and energy, and that leaves behind the ionic form of the mineral, which is the form that it needs to be in to be incorporated into the cell wall of the microbe, where it's put into an enzyme as a cofactor and kicked out as an activated enzyme to help release nutrients such as N, P, and K. So looking a little bit at the relationship between microbes and enzymes, enzymes are key to organic matter breakdown, energy production for the plant, as well as releasing nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that we just looked at in the last slide. These enzymes that we're talking about are produced by microbes, and the reason microbes produce them is that they're external digesters and they're breaking stuff down through the use of enzymes. So to give you a little example of that, if I eat a cheeseburger for lunch, throughout the afternoon, my body's releasing enzymes into my gut where it's breaking down that food and I'm absorbing the nutrients back out that I need. That's totally opposite of microbes. Microbes are releasing enzymes into the environment around them, breaking down the organic matter and releasing nutrients, and then absorbing in the nutrients that it needs. So it's kind of a backwards system from how we think about how we break down food. And the key to these enzymes is that they many times require a metal cofactor to function, because enzymes are simply a protein with a function. So if we look at the graphic on the bottom right here, we have an inactive protein, and once it binds to a cofactor, it becomes an active protein or an enzyme, and that's the form that it needs to be in to be able to break down nutrients and make them available to the plant. If we look at this in real life, we have an enzyme, and using microbial catalyst as a key, it activates it so that it's able to bind to tied up nutrients, do the conversion to release available nutrients to the microbes and ultimately to the plant. So this key that we're talking about is a cofactor. Cofactors are things like zinc, iron, copper, cobalt, manganese, magnesium, nickel, and moly. And if we look at Generate, we're providing cobalt, copper, iron, zinc, and manganese in this patented, proprietary, highly soluble, highly stable, but also highly available chemistry that is rapidly utilized to deliver the key to turn on these enzymes and activate them. So what we're doing with Generate Foliar is unlocking nutrients, helping crops to utilize fertilizer that's already applied and access nutrients that are already in the soil. In a test that we did, we saw a 7.5% increase in plant available nitrogen, as well as a 6% increase in plant available carbon. So these are numbers that would show up on your soil test as total carbon, but you're not going to know that there's actually 8% that's available to the plant, and the rest is in that form that we talked about being tied up. So this increase is also over control. These were as close to identical pots as we could get in the greenhouse. We used identical water, identical amounts of it, and it was 2 weeks after treatment. So it was a pretty impressive test to be able to show this number of 6 and 7.5% respectively in plant available carbon and nitrogen. So using Generate, we can help to maximize yield potential in a year of abundant challenges by unlocking nutrients that are already in the soil using Generate Foliar. Generate Foliar works by being absorbed through the plant, translocating throughout the plant down to the root zone. Once it's in the root zone, it's going to stimulate microbes to unlock enzymes and actually release nutrients back to the plant, helping to increase overall soil and plant health. When we do apply Generate Foliar, it's 100% available to the plants. So it's able to translocate because of that microbe and plant-friendly chemistry that we just talked about. And ultimately, we're going to see an increase in nutrient uptake, leading to less stress and overall plant health and vigor, which is larger root mass, larger biomass, taller plants, thicker stalks, just overall indicators of plant health. And ultimately, we like to see that the indicators of plant health lead to yield. And not only yield, but another interesting thing using Generate Foliar is that grain is typically 0.5 to 1.5 points drier. So oftentimes these taller plants can be a stage or two ahead than the control plants because they have access to the nutrients that they need when they need them. So it's really cool that we're able to see this drier grain, especially in a year where we planted late and we're really wondering if we're going to get to that point we need to be at the physiological maturity before the first frost hits. So how is Generate used? It's applied 1 pint per acre. We're labeled on a variety of crops. We're just going to highlight corn, soybeans, and wheat. So you apply that 1 pint with between 5 and 20 gallons of water. It's going to go on corn after the third leaf, on soybeans after the second trifoliate, and on wheat after the fourth leaf stage. So we do have a lot of other crops and applications of Generate. We just focused on a few today. Generate is compatible with liquid fertilizer, insecticide, and fungicide. So a lot of the inputs you're already out there spraying, we can tank mix with. Just perform a jar test because there is variation in industry partners' chemistry throughout the years. So our product is stable year to year and does not change, but just make sure you do a jar test to make sure that we are compatible in the tank. Microbial Catalyst technology is going to come to life through every product in the Ignition brand, from Generate, which we just talked through, to our Commence line of seed treatments, Procure, which is our higher iron, soybean, and corn products, as well as Anchor, our forage preservative line. That entire product portfolio is proven through an extensive research process. That research process starts in the greenhouse, where we have random pots. Anything that stands out in the greenhouse, we're able to take to our research farm, put it in actual soil where we're dealing with the climate, see how it performs against controls and other products. Anything that stands out there and bucks the trend, we take to farm scale trials. These farm scale trials are actually producer fields, so we're giving product to the producer. We do send interns out through our FTI program, which is a field trial initiative, and the interns are able to do root digs, monitor stand counts, take pictures, and ultimately track yield through the producer. And once we've proven it in a variety of geographies, soil types, climate conditions, and years, we take it to a full commercial launch, which is where the Generate, Commence, and Procure for Soybeans products live today. That is still supported by our FTI program, where we have interns monitoring it. We also rely on producers to report back what they see, as well as third-party research through university or other partners. If you'd like to learn more, we do have a Generate foliar application sell sheet available. It is attached to the email you received with this invite. We also have FTI and crop evaluations, and you can actually have those tailored to your area if you'd like. Just reach out to your local Ignition representative to get local yield data and local pictures of what's going on in your specific area. If you'd like to learn more from me or from our company, call the number on the screen there, or visit our website to learn more. You can certainly reach out if you have any questions on a foliar application of Generate or any of our other products. Thank you very much for your time.